Hey paper crafting friends, thanks for tuning in today. I am finally getting a chance to play with the December 2022 Kiwi Club Kit dressed in holiday style. So I have not made anything with this kit yet, and it was definitely calling me today. So I do have the idea book here. I don't print the whole thing. I tend to go through and kind of choose the pages that have the most content on them and aren't really advertising like the sketch challenge and that kind of stuff. So I did a quick flip through and a couple of things really caught my eye. So one of the things that I'm going to pull inspiration from today is definitely the tree. So I definitely want to play with that today. And then let me see. I liked the look of this scallop, so I think I'm going to play with scallops today for a border. And then I was checking this out and thought, gosh, that's super cute. I love how they used the texture paste to bring out the details in one of those corners. So we'll play with that today. If you saw one of my last videos, I did show you a little bit about that texture paste already. So you may have just recently seen it. I am going to play with that again today because I just love that look. So I am going to go ahead and get started. So let me show you what I've laid out already. This is going to be a single page layout. So this one is for my calendar. So this one's really here, this corner piece, this Silver Bells 5, I'm using more as a placeholder than anything else because I do want to use this Silver Bells 6 in both corners. So I'm going to do one here and one here to just kind of frame the calendar. When I make these, I always just stick with the white base page. They're heavy enough as it is. So by creating on the white, I'm keeping that weight and that thickness down just a little bit. So I'm going to make 2 of these and I'm going to use that texture paste on there. So we'll see how that goes. And then I just love this idea of the scallop that's on here, and I wanted to bring it into my page in a couple other places. So as it stands right now, I've got the fatter scallop and then kind of the medium one layered on top of each other. I'm not positive I'm going to leave that. We'll kind of see. I know I want room for a couple of nice size photos. And then I was thinking about the tree. Obviously this tree is too big to use with all of the rest of this, unless I put it like down here and covered up a bunch of the scallop. But I think what I want to do is just use 2 pieces of it, maybe just the top 2 like this, and use the trunk. Does that make sense? So that way it's still using the idea of this tree, but I'm going to definitely shrink it down a bit and put that maybe over here somewhere, kind of along this edge. Okay. So that's kind of the main chunks of what I want to do. And then I like the idea of this bow here. So I think with this bow, what I want to do is use it to kind of be where the scallops come up. Maybe one here and one here. Maybe in either a red glitter or just a nice red, something that's going to pop, just for a fun little accent. I don't know. See, that's when I'm looking at that and I'm looking at all the scallops and the scallops here and then the glitter bows. It starts to feel like a lot. And I may end up switching this to where it's just like a straight strip. I don't know. I'll figure that part out as we go. But that is the basic idea. I pulled this card out that says Believe in the Magic of the Season. I want to use this somewhere. My guess is it will be either something that I, do a little piece of here, or I may end up doing it on the lower part of the calendar down where the dates and stuff are. So we'll see how that comes together. So the next thing I had to figure out was kind of how I wanted to play with the papers. I adore this one. It's definitely my favorite paper in the pack. And I want to use it for this nice scallop down here at the bottom, the nice big one. Okay. I am going to cut it probably most of this whole size, just in case I decide that I'm going to leave it that way. If I decide that I want to cover part of it, I could always trim that off and have that strip for something else. This is also a really beautiful red tone on the back, which is it's just a really great rich red without too much pattern on it. So I definitely want to preserve this piece because it's just got a lot of features that I love. So with this here, and then I want a really nice bright red. I really want this red, but I'm not sure that I want to cut that much of it for just my calendar. So we'll have to decide what I want to do there. I might pull a red out of my stash to make that happen. So we'll see. For the tree, I was thinking about going with something that's a little bit non-traditional. So I'm thinking that maybe layering the green and this black and white, I might do something with that. So we'll kind of see how that comes together. I just like this dot and I thought that'd be kind of fun to carry that black up into the tree. So I definitely have some decisions to make, and I will kind of inform you and share those with you as I go along the way. Let me get this piece cut for now, and I'll work on the tree, and I'll pop back on and show you how it's going. All right, I'm going to catch you up on where I am so far. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I start to create, my plan changes a little bit. So that's what happened. So let me show you what I ended up doing here. When I traced that big scallop on that Silver Bells paper, I left a little bit of room at the bottom because I just hate to waste. And so by leaving a little bit of room, it created this little piece. And I thought, oh, I could maybe use that on the bottom or something. But when I flipped it over and I just felt, I already told you, I love this beautiful rich red. I thought, let me see how that looks there. And I really like it. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put that piece there. And then rather than make the bows red, I'm just going to make the bows silver. And that way I can either bring this down a little bit and trim that and make these kind of the joint thing here, or just bring that up and use the bows. I think I would put them here, something like that. So lots of choices, right? But I love that red pop on there. I like the silver bows. I don't know, maybe there. I'll have to play with that a little bit. I can already tell you they're going to be elevated, which is going to help with their placement because they're going to have a little bit of their own weight on the page. And then when I went and made the tree, I was just using 2 pieces, right? Which I showed you. I was going to kind of use the middle and the top. But I really wanted that 3rd layer. So I ended up, let me take this apart so you can see it. I traced the big one, really just, well, the medium one, excuse me, just as it was made, okay? And originally I had traced the small one just as it was made too. I will show you that I did alter it a bit, and I'll explain why in a second. So I wanted to make a middle piece. So what I did was just I kind of laid this on here to see what I needed. And I figured if I had like this scallop, and part of this one, that would be about right to go across here, okay? And so that's what I did on the black, is I kind of traced it that way. And then, so I got my little bottom scallops traced, and then I just kind of lined it back up so that I could get the right peak on it. So now I've got this. And then when I put this one on, it just was coming down a little bit differently than I wanted. So I just kind of adjusted and played with it a bit until I got this kind of layering how I wanted it. and then I just freehand cut a little trunk. So hopefully that makes sense, but I love that little tree now, and I like the little dots, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So the next thing I need to do is potentially create maybe a little tree topper for this. That would be an opportunity to maybe carry some of this silver glitter across. I got to figure out my photo mats, and I got to work on my couple of corners here. Once I get the corners cut, I'll pop back on and show you the process for doing that texture paste in case you missed that in my last video. So give me a minute and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've got my couple of corners cut, and I've got what I want to use as my stencil. So you've got to decide first what parts you really want to show up. And I don't really think I want this line here, so I need to make sure that I cover that when I prepare this. So with taking that off, I think I want to move the images down just a little, and we'll see how that goes. So I am using just like a removable Post-it tape. You could use like a painter's tape, like a painter's masking tape, something that's going to come off easily. So let me get that covered up first. And then I just want to leave some space around the edge. It is going to be easier for me if I do not have to be too careful. So I'm going to cover up all those edges. And then when I go to do the other one, I can just move this whole thing. So I'm not really wasting a bunch of this tape. It's not a big deal. Okay, so this is ready to go. Again, I'm using a Ranger texture paste. This one's opaque matte. There are lots of different styles. I bought the white because I feel like it's super flexible. I can use it for lots of things. So I get a little bit of the paste on my palette knife. Okay, I bought a little set of these. There's 4 different ones in here. Okay, so I got my little palette knife, and I'm just spreading. Okay, think about when you're spackling something on the wall. Same idea. I'm just spackling. So you spread it so that it goes into the spots on the stencil. Okay, and when you feel like you've got it in there pretty good, you're going to use the edge to clear it. It's kind of like icing a cake, doing the, like I said, the spackle. You just kind of want it to be as even as you can get it. Sometimes you catch the edge of the tape and that messes you up a little bit. So does not have to be perfect, of course. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Let me pull this tape up first. Thankfully, my work table is like a, I don't know, laminate countertop. It cleans up really nicely. So I am just working straight on my craft table right now. All right, so there we go. This needs to set aside and dry, but I love how it picked up all those details. Super cute. You can see a little bit of the stroking from me putting it on with that palette knife. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more careful this time. And let's get this lined up again. Oop. I love how I make it sound easy and then make it look hard. All right, there we go. Let's go for this again. Again, that nice, smooth layer. I'm not going to worry as much about getting perfectly even with the stencil because I don't want to see those texture lines when I pull it up, if that makes sense, like where I brushed it. So I'm more worried about just getting it smooth. And we'll see if this one turns out a little cleaner. go. Oh yeah, this one looks better. There is a tiny spot right here. Here's the nice thing. This stuff is wet. While it's wet, you're gonna take it off. Not a big deal. So this one feels a little bit better, looks a little bit more flat and uniform. Okay, so this one's definitely my preferred one. Does that mean I'm gonna go back and redo the other one? For me, it does not. I don't feel like people look that closely. So I don't stress out about things like that personally. We're all different, so you do you. Give me just a second, I'm gonna wipe this off. And then I wanted to show you one more product that I think would work well with this. I'm just gonna set these aside because they'll sit fine for a few minutes and then I'll wash them up. But I just grabbed a little piece of scratch paper, and I have another product that's a spreadable stickles, just a little tub of it, and I have some different colors of it. In this moment, I'm literally just playing. So I grabbed a piece of scratch paper. I'm gonna just play with these leaves real quick. I don't have a plan for this. I just wanted to show you kind of a difference. The thing that's interesting about this Stickles product is that it comes with some kind of glitter pieces in it, like little chunks of stuff, if that makes sense. You'll see when I pull it out. It is a little more gel based. Okay, so it comes out in kind of a chunk. And when I go to spread it, it's got these silver, this one has these silver like discs in it. So it's similar. You can use it in a similar way, but the discs are kind of interesting. Sometimes I feel like they almost get in the way. It makes it a little bit more challenging to get as clean of a line. But I wanted you to see it in case you come across it when you're looking for products. You'll kind of know what to expect. So I'm going to try to hold this up to the camera so you can see. It is a little chunky, a little bulky, okay, because of the chunks that are in there. So it's a little bit of a different look, definitely not as clean. Doesn't mean there's not a use for it, and you may find that you love it. I just wanted you to see kind of the difference in that product. All right, I wanted to show you how this is coming together, and then I want to talk through kind of my next set of decisions. So some of this is still drying, but this is where I'm at for now. I did add some little stickles, just little silver dots at the bottom of the scallops there. Just like that extra little detail. I got the star here. That came from the Nativity set. It was even larger than that when I pulled it out. I had to do a little bit of modifying to get it down to a size that felt right for that tree, but I wanted to bring in that kind of glitter feel. I ended up using the paper from the kit that has the script on it, and I know it's subtle for photo mats, but always with the holiday photos, the photos end up shining, right? There's so much color in those that I'm not really worried about it. I think that's going to be fine. And then I wanted to show you what I did with these little bows. I just ended up adding a little bit of detail just with a black Sharpie, just to give them, I don't know, just a little more oomph. So I'm happy with how those turned out. I really just kind of winged it. So not perfect, but it worked. So I am moving on to this last little section here because it's a calendar. I've got to worry about this bit. So I'm definitely going to bring the scallop down, and I think I'm going to use scallops like 1A or 1B to go ahead and use the silver bells paper and carry it down here. Okay, so that's kind of decision one. Decision two, I pulled this little tree out of Tiny Seasons, and I think what I'm going to do is cut one out of the green from the top and then one of the black and white polka dots and just kind of layer those here. And then I had told you that I wanted to use this sentiment, the believe in the magic of the season. This thing has been my biggest decision so far. So I just have to show you all of the things that I tried, because I know that you go through this too, and trying to figure out what's going to make the most sense, what fits. Okay, so first thing I tried was some tiny tags. Okay, lots of tiny tags were the right size and the right shape. I was playing with it over here, over here. I even tried it back on the top of the page, you know, lots of different things. All the tags kind of had a similar feel, trying to fit them here, because I had made up my mind this is where I want it, right? So I tried 3 different tags. I tried Sweet Pea 3, which fits it beautifully, but again, I couldn't really figure out where I wanted it, and even on the top, it wasn't working. In the idea book for this particular kit, they used Cherish 2. So tried that. Fits beautifully. Same problem. I was like, well, I could kind of put it there. I don't know. Like I said, having lots of issues. I grabbed Adorn 3A, and I thought, oh, with the scallop, maybe that would be cute. Thought maybe I could cut it so that it just kind of starts here at the edge. And that would have ended up being either like this or over it like this. But still, I mean, I don't think that's a bad option. It just ended up not being what I ended up going with. I think, don't hold me to it, I think that this is what I'm going to go with. Birthday 6 of 6. I like the curve on here. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut it so that it's coming down this way. And then I'm thinking that I can put it up here, something like that. And then I'll just anchor it with a little tiny piece of maybe the silver glitter paper, or a little tiny bit of red to carry that color down, something like that to carry one of those tones down into this lower part. So that's where I'm at with it at this point. So I may bring this down a little so there's a little more space between them, something like that with the 2 little trees. So I'm going to get this last bit cut. I'll get everything adhered, and then you'll be able to see in the photos kind of those last decisions that I made. So hopefully that works for you. As always, I really appreciate the time that you spent with me today. It means a lot to know that people, you know, give up some of their valuable time to listen in and watch and see what I have going on. Please take a minute to like the video or make a comment. Share it with somebody you know who you think would love it. And I will see you next time. So I hope whatever you're up to, you're having some fun. See you soon. Bye-bye.